Hello, everyone. Welcome back to I See Melanie. Today, we're here to talk about season 3 of Interview with the Vampire, now known as the Vampire Lestat. So, I was here last week reacting to the sneak peek that came out of San Diego Comic-Con. And I told you all then that I'd be back to talk about other footage that came out of the convention. So, lots of interviews happened, lots of photo shoots happened, lots of random social media videos happened, and I mentioned in the video that there was a trailer that was shown at the convention. Hasn't been released on the internet as yet. So I have a lot to say about all of that. That being said, this video was likely to be very long because there's just so much content. Like, I did some editing. I'm not going to show you everything, obviously. I'd be here all day. So strap in, guys. This is going to be pretty long. So get yourself a coffee, get yourself a glass of wine. Maybe watch this on playback at 1.25 speed. Watch it while you're folding laundry or something. But just stick around for the entire thing, okay? To make things easier for you, I will make sure to put chapters so you know exactly where I'll be talking about the different areas of the convention. We'll start off with a sneak peek from last week that I reacted to instantly, and now that some time has passed, I can add a little bit more context to everything. So let's start off with it. So I'll put it on mute and I'll just talk over it. So this outfit here, we see him with the sheer shirt. This was the same night that I met him. So knowing that he was working and rocking out really hard that day, and I didn't meet him until the next day. So this was July 8th. I didn't meet him until July 9th, technically, because it was after midnight. And so, yeah, knowing that he was, jumping up and down, playing the violin, doing the most on the stage. And after all of that, a long day, because I know he was working since the morning or the afternoon, he came out to say hello to us. Makes me appreciate him so more. Like, he was so nice, and I will talk more about meeting him later on. But anyway, let's go on to the next thing. So we see him walking up, and yeah, like, he just looks so rock star-ish. I love it so much. And yeah, so this guy here, let me go back a little bit. This guy here, Noah Reid. So I saw him on 2 different nights of filming. So I knew he was going to be on the show. So he played David's husband in Schitt's Creek. So he's a Canadian guy too. So it's nice to see that these local Canadian stars are going to be on my show. Because if I'm not going to be a Canadian on the show, other Canadians can be there. And this guy too as well, I saw him. So I forgot his name. I know he's a musician in real life, so he's playing in Lestat's band. And yeah, these t-shirts. So I have pictures on my phone of these t-shirts. So there's some with like a finger gesture and the names of the places he's going, and also this one here with his face. And then yeah, you see him just rocking out and doing the whole singing thing. And yeah, the cape. When I saw him, he wasn't wearing the contacts, so he just looked like Sam. He's wearing a lot of makeup still, though. And yeah, all like the body rolls, and like he just moves so well. Can't wait to see this when it's all done. And yeah, lots of scars. We'll talk more about the scars in some other topics I have today. And yeah, we see him practicing. And yeah, just looking very seductive, very sexy as Mr. de Leoncourt. And here is Louis. So Louis's hair, let me see. I think there's another shot of him. I guess he's supposed to look like, let me see. The 1910 version of him, or the 1900 version of him. The hair isn't exactly accurate to how he used to wear it before, and it could be that Jacob's hair, I think his hair might be a bit longer than it was back then, but it doesn't matter because he still looks beautiful because he's Jacob Anderson. Let's see. Yeah, so all the filming or the recording in the studio, practicing, and yeah, oh Sam. Yeah, so when I saw him, he wasn't wearing that cummerbund waistband thing at the time. But yeah, look at all the stuff he was doing that day. And so this scene's here with him wearing the yellow pants. So that was done the day prior. So that was the day I saw him when he waved to me from his car. If you haven't seen that, I do have a short video that's been published since basically the night that it happened. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, rocking out, doing the crowd surfing thing, seducing the fans, playing the violin, doing the most. Oh my, I just can't wait to see Lestat like this. Okay, and so we see this here. Okay. Now let's talk about some of the official promo pictures. So let's start off with this one here. We see Lestat and he is crowd surfing. And we see he's got the microphone in his hand, his microphone that's shaped like a coffin, and he's just basking in all the glory he's getting from these people. So you can take a look at the crowd there. You can see there's a big group of people. And one thing I can say, and one thing you can probably pick up by looking at this picture, is that the extras are very diverse. And I saw a lot of them. Well, I saw them on the nights of filming. They are diverse in age. They are diverse in genders. They're diverse in skin colors, ethnicities. It's really a mixed bag of people, which I think it's perfect and I think represents Lestat and the show in general. And it's so nice to see, like, they're, people, young people in their 20s and 30s and stuff. And we also see people in their 50s. So yeah, it's a lot of different types of people that go to Lestat the Encore concerts. So let's look at the next picture. The next picture is, again, Lestat, like, looking real good. The hair is flying backwards. And so, yeah, so I went to possibly one of the filming. They filmed in this venue twice. And that's the first time. The first time I saw Sam, he was wearing the pants that have, like, the reddish cast to them. And he had, like, the red streaks in his hair. You can see, like, right here, he's got some red streaks. And we can see some lacerations on him. So he's got some on his obliques here. And we'll later see a picture where he has some on his chest too. Let me see if that's the next picture, actually. It is. Okay, so we see he has a pretty deep laceration in his his heart area. And some right here, I guess, is that the sternum? I think that's like the sternum area. And some others on his obliques here as well. So this has me really curious, and FYI, I have not read TVL, so if you guys happen to know this from the books, please don't let me know. Let me just look here like an innocent or an ignorant person, but I wonder where these scars are from. I'm wondering if they're new or relatively new, because even though he does heal, he doesn't heal instantaneously, and these look very deep, very big, like somebody, and I'm guessing because it's on his chest, like he didn't do it himself, somebody really got in there with a knife or some kind of a whatever they used to lance it and got it really badly. And so I'm wondering if this has always been there or if this is something new. And the reason why I say has it always been there, maybe it's a circumstance where Louis just didn't mention it because he didn't see Lestat as being scarred. I have no idea. Or this could be a new addition. And of course, we haven't been around Lestat. Well, we saw him for 2 seconds in 2022 when Louis went back to New Orleans, but a lot of time has passed and a lot of things could have happened. So I guess we'll find out. And then, let's see. So this is a picture that I thought maybe I was confusing with the time I met him, because this shirt's very similar in nature, but this one is opaque and the other shirt he was wearing is sheer. And we see him looking at, let me go back, because I meant to mention this in the other video, other picture. I mean, look at Lestat's face. He looks sad. He looks tormented, because we can see, can I zoom in? I don't know if I can, but we can see his eyes. Like, obviously he's wearing makeup and because he's a rock star, but he doesn't look like a happy, fulfilled vampire. He looks like he's just going through the motions of this whole rock star thing, but he doesn't look happy with his life at all. And it could be maybe he was just being dramatic in this scene because he's a dramatic man, but he doesn't look happy. He looks tormented. And okay, going back to the next scene or next picture. So here he is. He's reading some music. He looks like he's on a piano. And he doesn't, he could be like, in the zone. When you get into the zone, your face kind of just looks resting. But he could also be upset. His hair looks really good. And in the background is his mom, who I saw on set too. And somebody who I was with said, "Oh, I think that's Lestat's mom." And I have no real background or basis to know, okay, his mom looks like this. But we now know that that is his mother. And I think those are all the official pictures. Yeah. Now let's talk about the trailer that was shown at SDCC. So it's been a week now and it still hasn't been published to YouTube or AMC's website or the app or anything. And yeah, I thought we'd have something by now, but we don't. And I saw somebody mention that maybe they haven't published it yet because, it's early days in the production. I am positive that the episodes haven't been cut yet. Like episode 1 or 2 hasn't been cut yet. So maybe they didn't want to put those scenes out there for people to think, okay, I'm going to expect to see this in season 3. And then season 3 comes around and those scenes might be on the cutting room floor. Maybe, I don't know. But since the actors were talking about the things in the scenes, I think we can talk about it here because they were kind of general things that we could probably guess would happen in the season. So it's nothing particularly spoilery. So again, I have watched a couple versions of people's iPhone video of the trailer. The audio's not very good, but I found one that was more clear than others that was actually complete. And so I'll talk about some of the scenes that were in that trailer. The first scene is Daniel and Louis at dinner. And so Daniel is talking about how he was approached to make a documentary about Lestat and how we had a meeting with Lestat's lawyers. And Louis is saying that he didn't like the way he was portrayed in the book, that he came across as just an outright liar, like not a lying to myself type of person, but just an outright liar. And then Daniel mentions that Lestat didn't like the part of the book where they talk about the interaction he had with Claudia on the train. And we see it's written down, or Lestat wrote in a big Sharpie saying, "It never effing happened." And so I think that's interesting because I always had thoughts about that scene because I thought, and I'll talk more about this in my retrospective videos I'm doing on all the episodes, but I always thought that, Lestat, he's not the father of the year, obviously. I didn't think, though, that he would be as abusive or as cutting as he was with Claudia as he was. So him mocking her assault and just, kind of playing around by, chopping the conductor's head off and just doing the most. I thought, I don't think he was that dialed up. But anyway, I guess we'll learn more about that interaction in season 3. Okay, now we see some shots of Lestat. And Lestat is backstage at one of his concerts, and he looks like he just drank a drugged person. He's looking very out of it. And we see a lot of flashes. We see a flash of him as a child. I'm assuming it's him as a child, and that's the stuff that was set back in the 1700s. And we see a picture of him as a young man before he's a vampire. We know that because his eyes are normal. We see Lestat walking in a hotel hallway with a man, with his arms around a man, who at first glance you might think it's Louis. It could be Louis because the video quality is not very good, but I don't actually think it is. And we see his handlers are behind him pushing a coffin. And we see Lestat at some point backstage. He's shirtless and he's carrying a woman who looks passed out. And we see lots of shots of him in the crowd. This one in particular, he's gyrating and his mom is looking at him like, oh, okay, that's inappropriate, which is ironic because the next scenes we do see is a shot of he and his mom before he's a vampire, and it looks like, to put it very mildly, his mother is being extremely inappropriate with him. And so, a theme of a lot of the shows I've been watching lately, Game of Thrones, but House of the Dragon more recently, White Lotus, and I don't know, something else. Lots of cest if we will. I will say cess because I don't want YouTube to demonetize my video. So yeah. Later on, we see more inappropriate mother-son interaction, the two of them walking up to a strip club. And yeah, we see a lot of concert scenes with Lestat prancing around, doing the most, being extra, being Lestat. And it looks like there are a lot of people in his orbit that are very into drugs, so to a self-destructive point. We see some shots of Nikki back in the day, a very quick shot of him. We also see a shot of Louis as a hallucination. So Louis is at one of Lestat's concerts, and he is styled. He's wearing the same outfit he was wearing the night that Lestat turned him, the night that they got married in the church. So Lestat is reminiscing on better days, I suppose. Okay, so now we get to like a speaking scene. And it's a scene between Lestat, Louis, and their respective lawyers. And so Louis's lawyer, he is a vampire. We see his nails at some point, and he is a vampire. And people say that's Moses Sumney. And Moses on his Instagram page, he posted something, but he didn't say, yes, it's me. And again, the video quality is not very good, so it's hard to tell. So yeah, that looks like that might be Louis's lawyer. And so we see Lestat and Louis going back and forth. Lestat is going on about how terrible Armand was. And then he mentioned like, oh, you two, you guys used to, what would you used to do? Ride back and forth across the Brooklyn or the Golden Gate Bridge. And Louis said, oh yeah, we used to do that. And while we were doing that, we used to trace numbers on each other's backs and pretend to guess the wrong number, like as a little game. And Lestat did not like that. He did not like that at all. So, and you can tell based on the look on Louis' face that he is needling Lestat deliberately because he knows he's getting under his skin, and Lestat's flying off the handle. He's swearing at him in French. And so, yeah, he does not like to think about Louis with anybody else. And at one point, when Lestat's yelling, Louis touches his lawyer's hand very gently. And Lestat did not like that, because Lestat does not like to share Louis. And so we see some more familiar faces. We see Raglan James. We see Real Rashid. So we see some Talamasca folk. We see somebody who appears to be Sam the Vampire. So we were told that Sam is a DJ now. He's still alive. And he wears a decorative helmet when he performs. And this person is wearing a decorative helmet as he's performing. So we see some elements of vampire physiology. So these are like minute details that probably only nerds like me think about, but I always wonder, like, what do they do in terms of, excreting fluids of different sorts? So we see at some point Lestat is vomiting blood. He's in the bathroom throwing up, not having a good time. We know that he throws up. We saw him throw up blood at the end of the season finale of episode 1, or season 1. But we also see him at a urinal, and it looks like he's urinating blood, which I wasn't sure if they urinated, period, and I guess it's blood and not urine. And again, I'm probably the only person who really cares about stuff like that. But yeah, so we see him doing that. We see a shot of him turning his mother, and we see a shot of his turning as well. And he looks very tormented. Obviously, we know he didn't want to be turned. And he just looks completely horrified. And I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of horrific scenes with Lestat from his upbringing, him turning into a vampire, and a bunch of things since Louis left him. And since he's been with these people, his bandmates, who don't seem to be a good influence on our boy Lestat. And yeah, again, lots of shots of him prancing around, being the life of the party. And of course he is Lestat. So yeah, so that is it. And yeah, seeing him firsthand, seeing how extra he is firsthand is going to be a real treat this season. All right, now let's go on to the interviews that happened. So there were tons of interviews, and I have watched basically all of them, but I will not be going through each one of them today because we could be here for hours and hours upon end. So the official panel hasn't been released in totality. I've seen a lot of clips on Twitter and things like that, but there are so many interviews. And of course, a lot of the same things are repeated. And obviously, because they don't want to give away spoilers, they really had to dance around certain things, which makes sense, but they gave a lot of great insight. So let's get into it. Let me just start off by saying it is clear that some interviewers are much more skilled than others. Luckily, the ones that I'll be showing today, I feel the interviewers were pretty good. So let's jump into the first one. So this one, I believe, is talking about, Lestat's backstory.
So, Sam, in the book, so much of Lestat's history is covered in that novel. Will we see a lot of that jumping between past and present in season 3, or are we staying more focused on your rock star angle?
No, we'll see a lot of the past, definitely, and that's kind of like one of the joys of the show is like how jarring those jumps are, going from the 1790s into like today. So yeah, we see a lot of the past. Roland's done a wonderful job of like sort of integrating the two time periods simultaneously as we go along. So it's not quite like the books where you get a bit at the beginning and a bit at the end and a whole bunch in the middle. It's intertwined through the beautiful songs written by Daniel Hart. So it's a really, really hard book to adapt, I think.
Yeah, so one thing that I know I was doing for myself personally, I think even since last year, since Longface, is that, this season is going to be so different from the previous season, and it's going to be very Lestat focused, and Lestat has already been such an amplified character, like, a personality. And him being a rock star, him feeling invincible, him just doing the absolute most, it's going to be a lot. So I think anyone who's probably watching this right now is totally down for it. But it's going to be a real shift. And I don't know, like I still kind of like feel a little ways about them changing the name. Like I don't care. I will love anything that they put out with these actors playing. So that doesn't matter to me. But in terms of like people thinking like, is this how the show has been the entire time? And it's not a matter of one being better than the other. They're just really, really different. And so it might be a bit jarring for people to see this new iteration, but it's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. I know that. And I'm ready for it. Yeah, Longface really prepared me, I feel. And that was a year ago. And this is not coming out for quite some time. So, yes. In this clip here, Sam's talking about whether the show is going to be a musical or not. And so I think that's a fair thing to ask because I'm sure a lot of people want to know. Let's see what he has to say.
The show is not a musical. It's not like we're doing like the musical version of Buffy. You know how they did that like one musical episode? Like, I don't know. Like, we're not.
I never watched Buffy.
People would live for it, but I get it.
Yeah, but it's not a musical, like, so it's not like Lestat's sad and then he goes like, I'm so sad. Like it's a concert.
He doesn't break out into song.
He's writing the songs. He is a musician. That's what he does as a living. That's how he is spending his time living. I don't know if he's... Anyway.
Sam nearly spilled something there.
And the scenes do exist, but the scenes exist within the context of the song. So it's not like the song informs the context of the scene. The scenes exist within the context of the song. So we're not doing a musical, so don't worry. Don't worry. It's not Lestat the musical.
I'm glad. I love musicals. I saw a musical 2 weeks ago, Death Becomes Her, on Broadway. Really good. But I think for the purpose of this show, if it was all musical based or people just would randomly break out into song, that wouldn't be good. So I think, yeah. And I didn't actually think it was going to be a musical anyway, but I'm glad he clarified that. So let's go on to the next one. I'm so mad my cue didn't work out properly, but let's just go on and see. What is this one even about?
Lestat goes, let's just say full Lestat in this season. Can I say that? Can you tell me a little bit about who you're hopping in and around with? Because he's single.
Yeah, he is single, and he's hopping in and around with a lot of people.
That's right.
Yeah.
At the same time sometimes?
Yeah, multiple people at the same time. Yeah, definitely have
her face
potentially shot.
Dude.
It's Lestat, and yeah, I mean he's a He's a lover. And he loves a lot of people. He loves solely one, but loves many.
How many Sums were there?
Hey, more than 3.
Bless you, Roland. Bless you in your pen. Eric.
No, it's episode 1. So we go right in there. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But, I think the thing is, though, it doesn't mean to say, like, it's not, the sexuality of the character is, like, tied up very deeply into his personality and into his upbringing as well. And so, like, it's complex. It's complex. Yeah, he has a lot of sex and does a lot of, like, intense things with a lot of people, but you learn why. And you start to understand why. And I think that's kind of like a really interesting journey that we do take the character on. So it does feel earned.
I can't wait.
So I thought that was a really good one because I'm looking forward to seeing that scene. And, like, not to sound like, like a freak or whatever, but one thing that was markedly absent in season 2 was, like, any sex. There was no sex at all in season 2, and there was quite a lot in season 1. And I think, obviously, for many reasons, like things that Sam mentioned, obviously Lestat has always been a very sexual person, so there's that. Also, he is a rock star. He's doing that sex, drugs, rock and roll type of lifestyle, so of course he's going to be hooking up with people. I said that in my assessment of Longface last year, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, quite frankly. And, he's emotionally monogamous to Louis, but physically he's not. And honestly, as a vampire, doing the whole sex, drugs, and rock and roll thing, it's perfect for him because he can do his concerts at nighttime, dark time. Perfect for a vampire. Drugs, he can do all the drugs he wants to in the world, and, he will get roughed up by it, but he'll be fine. He's not going to die from anything or get really sick from anything, so that's good. And then also, the sex part, like I said in the long face thing, he can sleep with anybody he wants. He's not going to get any STDs. He's good. So why not? He's a single man. He has everybody fawning over him. I would do the same thing if I were Lestat. I am not Lestat. I am a human being, woman. So, yeah. But, yeah, so he's going to be doing the most, and I can't wait to see it. And on that vein, I pulled out this clip from a Screen Rant video where Roland's talking, and he's basically saying they're taking a maximalist approach, which I think is obvious, obviously, by the theme, by the protagonist this season, and they're just taking swings, and I really appreciate that. So let's take a look at what he said.
And then last but not least, Roland, I know based on the names that we've seen, and also just things that you have said in the past, that there's like little Queen of the Damned creeping in,
From our pilot.
Exactly, from the beginning.
Season
from the
1
beginning. However, I would like to know, is there anything that is off the table in the Anne Rice Vampire Chronicles world? Is there anything that you're like, I don't know that we can do that? No. Oh, okay.
Why?
No, just,
why?
I don't know. For me, there's things way deep down. There's probably like some landmines there that we just have ways to go why we should not fear anything. Everything should be on the table.
Yeah. We are fearless.
Yeah.
In Interview with the Vampire Lestat.
So that makes me very happy. Again, I think Roland is such a great writer, and I trust anything that he has planned for us. But I think also from the perspective of getting the show more eyeballs and more attention and the opportunity they have. And I would say I haven't really checked, but in terms of AMC, in terms of their real footprint these days, again, I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, but I am one of very few Walking Dead fans. Like, I still watch the spin-offs, but none of my friends, all of my friends used to watch The Walking Dead back in the day. I'm the only one who does now. And I feel as though with, Daryl Dixon has been announced to be closing down after the 4th season, Dead City is not good, quite frankly. And I know they have an extra season coming up, but in terms of the real main attractions for AMC these days, for me personally, obviously it's Interview with a Vampire, but I would say that's for the masses too, because I couldn't name an active AMC show right now. And so I think with this opportunity of, showcasing this so flamboyant character, they can really take some swings. And they're doing a lot by just having him be a full-fledged rock star and creating all these songs and everything. Why? And, from another perspective, like, they got shunned by the Emmys again this year, which is absolutely insane to me. I love White Lotus. I talked about White Lotus on here, but I didn't think that all those actors should have been nominated, but that's a whole other topic. And I think, to get more eyeballs for people to see, this show was good and maybe I shouldn't have been sleeping on it for so long. They might as well go for this approach. I'm here for it, and I trust that Roland is going to do a good job because he's done a great job thus far. Once again, with these interviews, the interviewers, they have to ask the question, but I think they know that they're not going to get all of the answers because they ask a lot of things that are very spoilery. And obviously, yes, there is source material, so we might kind of know the answers to the questions, but of course we don't know exactly how Roland's going to write these things, what's going to happen. And so this lady asks a question.
Armand.
Yeah.
We have left things off where we did in season 2. Louis is now out of the spell, very aware. Lestat is now back in the picture. You are now a vampire, all of which is fallout from this character. Now, he will play a major role in Lestat's history, but how are we going to see the fallout from Armand play out in the present?
Oh, wouldn't that be fun to know? Wouldn't that be fun to know?
I said, I'm a dog with a bone. I had to try. I had to try.
I think very satisfyingly.
Okay, all right.
Stop.
Stop.
Yeah.
Full stop. Before Eric can say anything. These two guys are just, the whole time we do interviews, they're just waiting for me to say something I'm not supposed to say.
Yes, correct.
They're watching me very carefully.
Yeah, Eric is such loose lips. And I've seen Eric. I haven't met him yet. I need to run into him one day when I'm like walking to the gym or going to the grocery store. Or if I see him at a filming location one day, because I think he would spill. I wouldn't say anything though. But he seems like a lot of fun, like a really cool, like uncle type. But yeah, I would like to know what Armand is up to. I know Assad has been in town, and later on Eric mentions that they filmed stuff already. So, yeah, I'd like to know. Here's some more of Eric chit-chatting. Like, look at this man. He's so funny.
I'm very challenged. It's very hard to pull off. There's an angle that we're doing, which I don't know whether I can say it. He switches gears a little bit.
Jacob and Sam's faces.
I don't know. I actually don't carry the.
I think it was in the thing. I can say that.
I didn't read the thing.
It's the basic assumption.
You can't take this man anywhere. He can't stop talking. And this man, he posted so many things on Instagram, like shots of filming that he quickly took down. But of course, the internet never forgets. Somebody screen capped it, so I've seen it as well. It wasn't, I won't say what it is. It wasn't anything super spoilery, but Eric just loves to talk, loves to share. And Eric's... Okay. The reactions from Sam and Jacob are so funny because they express on their face what we're all thinking when Eric talks sometimes. It's like, you can't take this man anywhere.
That intro was incredible.
Yeah.
That was so good.
And you have a nice neck, too.
Oh, thank you.
We really appreciate necks.
Thank you. That's
We're all
really,
not
really
supposed to say
kind.
that?
I think just you.
Cancel,
you.
cancel me.
Canceled already.
Sam and Jacob's faces is so funny. I had to rewind. Let's watch it again.
That intro was incredible.
Yeah.
That was so good.
And you have a nice neck, too.
Oh, thank you.
We really appreciate
thank
necks.
you. That's
Don't
really,
tell
really
people
kind.
that.
Just you.
Cancel,
Just you.
cancel me.
Canceled already.
Oh, Eric. Okay. I got a lot of Eric stuff going on over here. Let's see, what's this one about?
They are just amazing characters, and
He's talking
very
about
rich.
the ancients,
I
I
would love
think.
to be Marius in the real world. I mean,
Jacob's like, stop talking. Like,
You were doing so well.
It's still too close. I'll just keep it over here.
I think you're doing great. I think you're doing a great job.
You need to read more books. You need to read more of the books.
And you be trusted.
I still want to do everything.
So yes, as somebody who hasn't read the books, but somebody who knows a little bit about Marius, even just from season 1 and season 2, from what Armand said, you know that he was Armand's slaver, and he pimped Armand out, and Eric saying he would love to be him. It's like, oh. Eric. Okay, this one is about Delaney and how she's going to be used.
Also very exciting, something that I will find out in a few hours, is Delaney is back. Hello?
Yes.
That is on the panel. I promise you that I read the email.
Okay, good, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell me what is happening there. Can you tell me how early on you knew you had to have her back?
Probably 5 minutes after her audition. We had to think about how to use her, and we came up with something we thought was really exciting and really interesting. And so, it's coming. Yeah. You got it.
So when he mentions we had to think of a way to use her, and he's really excited about it. So, of course, I think she'll be used in flashback scenes. That makes sense. But in terms of the way he said that, it made me think as though she'll be more present in present day scenes. That's my interpretation. And I am curious as to how she could be a hallucination or some other crazy circumstance could happen. If you have speculations, write them down. If you happen to know book spoilers, don't write those things down. Pretty please. And we've got a couple more. 2 more.
So Jacob. Louis has been finding himself within season 2 and also presumably since season 2. What can you tell us about what's different about Louis in season 3?
I think Louis sort of did find himself, or he found like a version of self-acceptance. And I think in that time, maybe he got a little bit bored.
Probably.
And he's diversified his life.
So I thought this was interesting in how he looked to Roland like, is this a good way to describe it? I have seen some hypotheses as to what people think Louis' day-to-day is like. And I don't know this to be a fact. This is all speculation. So if you don't want to hear any speculation or rumors, go away. But again, I don't know this to be true. So obviously we know. Oh, and I think actually let me play it a little bit more.
Yeah, he's diversified even
more
wider than he did back in the day. But yeah, there's always going to be like a thing that draws him back to his past in a few different directions, and
so there are always going to be things that draw him back to his past in a few different directions. So obviously, like, I think Lestat's one, but I think in terms of him and what he's doing, what Louis is doing now, is the speculation is, he was a brothel owner back in the day. He was an art dealer, up until a couple of, since in Dubai. People have been speculating that Louis owns a strip club. And we see Lestat at a strip club at some points too. So they think, okay, that's kind of in the same vein as his job back in New Orleans in Storyville. So I don't really know. That could be something. We also know that, he invested, he sold paintings and things like that. I could see him, now I'm just thinking about this now, maybe not wanting to be an art dealer anymore because that's very much linked to Armand. And that's like, he's making lots of money off of it, but he's not actually like doing all that much compared to when he was taking pictures. He wasn't very good at taking pictures, but he was really, really into it. So I wouldn't be surprised if he is, maybe doing the whole strip club thing on the side and doing something else. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Be prepared for everything to not be right in the world of Louis de Point du Lac.
I'm always prepared for that.
I am too, unfortunately. And I love Louis and I love Jacob. I have seen Jacob. I haven't met him yet. And I think we're on to the last video. It's about Lestat. I love Lestat.
Louis and Lestat have many miles to go before they can potentially be companions for one another again. So what can we expect in the meantime? What can fans of that relationship look forward to in season 3?
Beef.
Of course. Like in the teaser
Pure
trailer.
beef. No, I don't know.
100% beef.
100% beef.
Like it's such a fun dynamic to play because, you know, like obviously we all know they love each other. We know they love each other, but you know, the line between love and hate is so fine. You can't hate somebody you don't love.
True.
Or at least you can't, you know what I mean? So you can not give a crap about somebody, not think about them if you don't love them, but if you love them, you can hate them. And I think that's a really fun dynamic for the two of them to play. And it also gives us a journey and, it's a long journey, you know. You can't get everything you want all the time, at least at the beginning. You know?
Yeah, and also like
So this tells me what I think, what makes sense, what I understand to be the general, storyline in the books and stuff. There's always going to be a back and forth between them. They're going to love each other, then hate each other, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. But what Sam said, he said, there's going to be a long journey. So we're going to see all of that. And I cannot wait because they have a ton of things to talk about and to flesh out. And then eventually they will be together. And that will make me very happy. That will make them very happy too. So let's see what else. This part here, oh my gosh. Jacob, he has such a funny sense of humor. This made me laugh so much.
You can't get everything you want all the time.
It's true.
At least at the beginning. You know?
Yeah, and also like, mum and dad fighting doesn't mean divorce.
Mom and dad.
But maybe it does. But like,
And it doesn't mean they
there's
don't
a
love
fun
me.
tension
Right?
in not knowing if your parents are going to break up or not.
Whose parents?
I had to rewind that. Look, that is the funniest thing.
Whose parents are we to? Just the world.
We're mum and dad.
Everybody.
To whom?
To
The internet.
The
to
internet.
the people that watch the show.
But I would also say like I think they're like one of those really traumatic couples that like get divorced and get remarried and then maybe get divorced again and then get remarried, like that level of
They
chaos.
renew their vows and then get divorced, like ask
kill
for a
each other.
separation
Yeah.
whilst renewing their vows.
yeah.
And then set fire to the chapel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets extreme with you too.
Yeah.
Your fights are pretty bad.
Yep. So yeah, like Jacob said, in this season, we're going to see them going back and forth. Like, they're always going to be connected in some way, but there are going to be lots of fights and distance between them. And I think that was very much telegraphed in Long Face. But yeah, there's a fun tension in not knowing whether or not your parents are going to get divorced. Is like one of the funniest things I've ever heard anyone utter in their life. But on TV, it's a great tension. Real life, not so much. But on television, it's great, especially with these two characters and these two actors. And so, yeah, those were all the interviews I pulled up. Again, there's a lot of repetition. And of course, they have to dance around the different topics because they can't, reveal anything. I thought all of them, Sam, Jacob, Eric, Roland, Daniel Hart, and Mark Johnson was in on some of them as well, did a really good job in these interviews. Like, they're so much fun, and you can really, really tell that they all really enjoy working together, that they're very close, and they enjoy the project as a whole, that they're really invested. And so I could watch them talk forever, and I kind of did last weekend. And this week, or like last week, because a lot of things were released, on Thursday and Friday and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it just makes me so excited to watch this project more and more. I cannot wait for season 3. Okay, there's another video that I forgot to cut up, but there's a point where Jacob and Roland kind of intimate that this season is going to be released in April.
Yeah, I don't know. He basically has to explain to the world why a particular rock album almost destroyed the entire planet. So, it starts there. How about that?
It's only coming out after the panel, not after the show.
Oh, it's in the first minute of the show. That's not a spoiler. We do that in the first minute of the show.
Sure. Okay, yeah.
Now,
in April. All right, clap again. Well,
Which makes sense because it's going to take some time for them to, finish filming and then cut it and do all the VFX and stuff. And so I know a lot of people saw that and they're like, oh, we have to wait till 2026. It's like, at this rate, of course, we're not going to get it in 2025. And I'm fine with that. Obviously, I wish I had it right now, but it takes time. Perfection takes time, and this show was perfect. So April, it's not actually that far away, and it gives me something to look forward to on the television. Now let's talk about casting. So there have been some casting announcements. We've kind of talked about a few of them, but let's just go to the Instagram page and talk about the main cast. And I don't think this is anything really surprising to any of us, but of course Sam Reid's still going to be there. And that picture is so old. Look at his hair. And of course, we've got Jacob Anderson. No news here. Also no news that Eric is going to be there again because we knew that. Assad, even though we haven't really seen much of him in interviews lately, I know he's been here filming in Toronto, and Eric made mention of that just a second ago, so there's that. And Delaney, we just heard that, and I assumed she was going to come back. Obviously, we know Claudia died, but just the fact that she was doing a lot of promos. She was at an event with Sam in February or earlier on this year. And she was visiting the writer's room with him as well. So I'm like, they're not going to drag this woman out, in 2025 for a show that she is no longer in. So I'm very glad she's going to be here in season 3. And in terms of other people, let's see. So I don't know. These are reels. I don't know if they're loud. Oh, okay, there's no volume. I don't usually use Instagram on my TV, on my computer. But we see that there is a character here called Baby Jenks. And so Baby Jenks, I believe in some of the footage, we saw her with pills in her mouth. So I know she's in the book from what I understand, but I don't really know anything else about her other than that she's in Lestat's orbit and she appears to be a person who likes drugs. Who else is here? Know a good lawyer. So this here is Christine Claire, Janine Sorrells. So I don't really know much about her. Obviously, she's Lestat's lawyer, so there's that. But I don't really know much about her personality because I haven't read the books. Or her character, I should say. And then we've got Christopher Heyerdahl as Marius. So that's Armand's maker. We were just talking about Armand just now, or Marius just now. And then we have got Into the Fire, they say. Who's Into the Fire? This is, Magnus, Damien Atkins. So we get to see Lestat's maker. That should be interesting and horrifying. And then she's Mother. And this is Jennifer Ely, and she plays Gabriella. And so her face looks so familiar. Like, I know I've seen her on TV or movies before, but I looked on her IMDb page, and I didn't really recognize anything. I hadn't really watched anything she'd been in. But I have seen her with my naked eyes, with that wig, that platinum wig on. So, yeah, that's Lestat's mama. Okay, so the cast we talked about, so there is Real Rashid and Raglan James representing the Talamasca, and I guess by extension, Sam the vampire. We saw flashes of Nikki. We know Armand's going to be around. Claudia's going to be there. One casting announcement that's missing is that of Akasha. Now, Roland mentioned that the person has been cast, but the contract details are still being worked out. And so now I'm fan casting. So I have 3 actresses in mind, and these 3 actresses are strikingly beautiful women who are 40 plus. You have a bit of seasoning on them. And no, I am not fan casting myself, but I put it out on Twitter, and these are my 3 picks. I don't know anything about their schedules and if they can even do it, but if I could choose, I would choose Tika Sumpter. Look at her. She's beautiful. She is so beautiful. Freema Agyeman She was in New Amsterdam and Doctor Who as well. And she has a connection to Real Rashid. She and that actor, they were in a play in London. I follow them on Instagram, so I know that. So she's got a bit of an in. So I think, yeah, she's gorgeous as well. And also we have DeWanda Wise. And again, she's a great actress. I think she doesn't even need to wear contacts. Those are her real eyes. I think they're her real eyes. And so, yeah, one of these three, I think, would be a fabulous Akasha. So let me know what you think. And I thought it'd be cool to just do a little picture time, little slideshow, because again, there are so many different pictures and videos taken at Comic-Con, and I just thought they were just all so lovely because, again, these actors and Roland and everybody and Daniel Hart, you can tell they really enjoy being in each other's company. And it just shows through in all of the videos and pictures. So here is a picture of look at this trio. We've got Eric, Jacob, and Sam. Oh, look at Jacob. He's so cute. He's wearing his Protect the Dolls t-shirt. Like, could you love him even more? Could I love him even more? Okay, look at him. I want to meet him. I need to meet him. And look at them. They look so nice. It's just me just like looking at them like, oh, they're so cute. Because obviously I have mentioned 1,000 times how good looking I think these two guys are. And Eric's handsome too. But even aside from that, like I just think their interaction is just so adorable. And you know, Jacob and Sam are men in their 30s. They're grown men. But I just think they're so cute together. It's like, oh, look at these two, like almost like two little boys, like two little puppies playing. And so this is a nice picture. And I love this. I love this picture because I just think it's so funny that Sam has his arm around Eric's thigh. I think that's the funniest thing for some reason. And look at them. Look at how handsome they are. Ugh, so handsome. And this is a fun little picture. You got Mark there. You know Mark is 79 years old? Like, he looks pretty good for a guy who's almost 80. This is a random photo shoot idea. And of course, you got Roland here with his weathered book. And Jacob just looking cute. I love the lighting. Oh, this one is so cute. This is a video of this photo shoot where there's head banging and moving around and just looking like, you know, just two teenage boys just having fun. Adorable. Look at Sam. Look at him, so mysterious. And so look at their faces. And Eric's having so much fun. I love Eric. I love Daniel. And I need to meet Eric. I need to have one conversation with him. And look at the two of them. They're so in sync. So adorable. And handsome yet again. And like, look at the way they look at each other. Like, you can really tell that these guys are very, very good friends. Because oftentimes when you see actors doing press with their coworkers, you can tell that they're friends or they're acquaintances. Or sometimes you can tell like they actually don't like each other at all. But their interactions, it's just so pure and cute and fun to look at. Good Jam Reiderson content. And look at the two of them. So cute. Cute 30-something-year-old men. And look at the way they look at each other. Aww. And look at Sam looking so mysterious. Looking very like lion-esque. Lestat de Leon Court. The Lion Court. Actually, you know what's so funny? Even I noticed in the long face trailer from last year. I guess because, you know, he's American, he's not living in Louisiana where they use the French names. They, in the long face trailer, they called him Lestat Lion Court or Mr. Lion Court. So they took the "de" out and they call him Lion Court now. So I wonder if he's still going to use, you know, the French pronunciation of his name. It's a picture of them just having fun. And oh, good old Eric. There's a video of this photo shoot, and you see like Sam, he's emotionally like he's like licking him. It was really funny. And Jacob's giving him an air kiss. Aw. And the two of these boys, so handsome. And I think I have one more that's a video. Look at this. It's so cute. There's music, so I took it off, but look at them. Just being silly. Silly 30-year-old men. Having a good time. I love it. I love it. Let's watch it again. Okay. Comic-Con must be pretty fun. Again, there's a lot of repetition, like answering the same questions or like dancing around the answers, but it's just, it looks like a fun time. I want to go one year. That wraps up my discussion on SDCC stuff. So now let's talk about filming of season 3 in Toronto and my experiences having gone to the filming locations and having seen, I've seen Jacob, I've seen Eric, I've seen Daniel Hart, I've seen Hannah Moskowitz, I've seen a lot of people, and I've officially met Sam. So they started filming in Toronto, or the Greater Toronto area, on June 16th, so about a month and a half ago at this point. And when they first started, they were filming outside of Toronto. So if you're from this area, you know of Hamilton. They started there. They started in Burlington, Mississauga, someplace called Cayuga, which I never heard of before. And I was like, okay, they're close, they're proximate, they're within driving distance from me, but when are they going to be in Toronto proper? And then Canada Day, so July 1st, I was on the internet and I saw there was pictures of them filming. Not of them filming per se, but them outside the filming locations when they were taking breaks. And I'm like, oh, okay, they're really, really close, because it was at a concert venue, a quick subway ride, streetcar ride from my house. But it was Canada Day and I had plans that night to see fireworks, and so I couldn't go. But I knew they were going to be filming the next day. And so that was a Wednesday, the 2nd. I was working. And so I was just keeping up with, things on Twitter. And I was in contact with a couple of people, and they told me which venues they were going to be at. And these venues are, pretty close to my house. And so I went to the gym, because I always go to the gym to my class on Wednesday nights. So I went there, got back home, showered, and took off. They were filming at a concert venue very close to my house at Danforth and Broadview. So that's a very hyper-local reference for you Torontonians. I'm channeling my inner Kendall Roy. So I went there, and I knew that they were filming at that place in the daytime, and they were going to another place at Broadview and Queen at nighttime. But because just the logistics of everything, I had to, basically pass by that venue at first. So I went outside and I saw there was some markings, and I think it's in that teaser or in the trailer actually, just of the outside of the concert venue. But I saw a security guard. He's like, yeah, no one's filming here right now. I'm like, okay. So I went down to the other concert venue, and I met some people who are also like me, who were just basically standing out there waiting to see what they saw. And so, yeah, I've made a few pretty cool friends from this whole experience thus far. And so, yeah, we were just talking and, talking about the show, talking about what we want to see and all this kind of stuff, passing some time by. And I was even talking to some of the crew. The crew is really nice. And probably an hour later, one of the people who I met, she's like, there's Sam. And I looked back and I saw him. I was pretty far away from him at this point. And so he was like looking in the direction, but I don't think he could see me. And I know he was probably wearing his contacts. He probably couldn't see anything anyway. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's Sam. That's him right there. And so throughout this entire thing, where I'm seeing him is where they have their little breaks. So there's craft services there. There are a bunch of crew members there. It's at the side of the building. And this is on the small road. So he was just right there. Oh, I should actually mention, before I even approached that area, I was walking in front of the venue on the sidewalk. And I should mention, Queen East is a very busy, happening place here in Toronto. And especially during the summer months, there are lots of shops. There are lots of restaurants and lots of bars around there. And this was at around 8 o'clock, and 8 o'clock still pretty bright. So yeah, there's lots of activity. But yes, so when I was walking by, I saw Hannah Moskowitz. I can't remember her last name exactly, but I saw her at first. And I passed by like the vestibule, the double doors of the entrance, and I could see the video village there. And I didn't see anything other than the setup of the concert hall. So I have no intel for you, but I can say that the footage from the sneak peek from last week, that's where it was taking place. And so, yeah, so I saw Sam, and then, yeah, back and forth, they were taking their breaks. And then maybe 45 minutes later, I saw Jacob. And I know Jacob, earlier on that afternoon, that evening, he was actually taking pictures with fans. And so I'm like, oh, maybe I'll see him. I'll get a picture with him. I didn't. I wasn't able to. But then later on, I saw Eric for a hot second. He was, again, talking to crew or extras or something, or somebody by the trailers that were right in front of the entrance. And so the crew's really nice. And so one crew member who she knew we were there to just, kind of observe and see the stars. And so I was at one part of the street, like the sidewalks here, and I'm over here. And so she walks up to me and my other friend who I met, and she said, you might want to take a walk down the sidewalk a little bit. So I'm like, okay, picking up what you're putting down, lady, thank you. And so I went and I walked, and so the entry to the building where they're taking their breaks was like, say, like right here, right? So I walk and I come here and I see both Jacob and Sam, and I'm across the street again. This is a very little street, so I'm like, I don't know, 10 feet away from them, maybe 12 feet away from them. And it was just so weird seeing them so close to me, right? And I should mention, I didn't take any pictures that night because they were on their breaks, and I didn't want to, snap a picture of them while they're just, having a moment, taking a little break from all this filming. So I have no pictures to substantiate any of this. I just have all you can take is my word. And so I saw them, and again, they were talking to people in and around the area. And at one point, actually, Sam, he kind of took off to the side, and he was like literally sitting at the side of the sidewalk on his phone or whatever. And at that point, he was obstructed by a car. So I knew he was there, but I'm like, if I wanted to be a brat, I could have walked over and said, hey, Sam. But I'm like, no, this man is working. He's on his little break. Leave him be. And so, yeah, it was a bunch of back and forth, in and out. I saw Sam come out a couple times to get a little sandwich and then go back in. And then towards the end of the night, Sam and Jacob and Eric were leaving. So Sam left first, and so he got into his car. Jacob was about to go into his car. And so one of my friends who actually met Jacob earlier on, so we were across the street, and she said, bye, Jacob. And so he turned around, he waved to us. So Jacob Anderson has waved to me. And then I saw Eric go off in his car as well. And it's so interesting because, being a crew member, they work on several different projects. As I mentioned before, there are so many. This week alone, or last week I should say, because it's Sunday, I passed by 4 different filming projects in 3 days. There's a lot going on. So these people, they don't all watch the show. They don't know who these people are. And so my same crew lady who told me to go and check Jacob and Sam out, like, she doesn't watch the show either. And so she didn't know that she didn't know that I saw them leave. So she's like, yeah, the white one, he left a couple minutes ago. And the black one with a British accent, he left a few minutes later. I'm like, thanks. And so many of the people, like, was one extra who I was talking to, who I thought he was crew, but I later learned he was an extra. And he said, like, what is the show about? Is it any good? And we're like, of course it's good. It's about this, blah, blah, blah. And he said, yeah, that Sam guy, the blonde guy, like, I have been working with him all day. I have been, this far away from him the entire day, and I don't even know who he is. And I said to him, like, do you want to switch jobs for a day? So, yeah. And so anyway, so they all left, and I stayed there for about an hour later because the extras were filming some shots. And so when we were there, I don't know the names of these people. I guess some kind of a producer. She asked us, hey, could you like move, back out into the sidewalk a bit for the shot so we wouldn't get in it? I'm like, yeah, of course. I stood on the street in between a van and a motorbike because it was late at this point and I didn't want to obstruct anything. And so I just watched, and I think I can mention what I saw. It is not spoilery at all. I just saw the extras going into a Lestat concert. So yeah, I didn't see anything. I don't know any spoilers. So yeah, so I saw that. So that was the first night that I went to. So that was July 2nd. Then we cut to July 7th. Let me look at the calendar. July 7th. So they're filming at another concert venue on Sherbourne Street. Again, hyperlocal reference. And this place is a 15-minute walk from my house that I referenced before. And so I went there after work. I got there at like 6:30. And I was there and I saw a lot of extras going back and forth. The setup of this place was a little bit different from the other one. So where we were standing was quite a distance away from the entrance of the place. And it's a busier street. If you're familiar with Sherbourne, it is an eclectic street. Let's just say there are a lot of eclectic characters. And so anyway, so we were there for a while and we didn't really see anything. But I saw a car pull up to a particular part of the, the parking lot. And I suspected that this is probably a car for, somebody important. So like Roland or Daniel Hart or Sam. And so with that in mind, I said, okay, when I see this car, I'm going to have my phone ready. And so the car was pulling out of the spot and it was driving in front of us. And in looking at the video, I can tell that the driver slowed down a bit. The window was wound down. And who do we see in that car? Mr. Sam Reid himself. And he waved to us. And he was so nice. And honestly, I was so surprised. I'll play the video now.
Hi, Sam! Hi!
As you can hear on this video, I was very surprised and I was very excited. I gasped like crazy. And there are not 20 octaves on the piano, but my voice is a bit deeper, on the deeper end for a woman. My voice raised up 20 octaves in that video because I was just so surprised and excited to see him. And so he said like, hi, and I'll see you later. And even my videography skills weren't very good because I was too zoomed in and I was too excited. But my friends have other video. And when he was even driving down the street, he like looked back and he was still like kind of poking his head out and saying like, see you later and waving. So I was like, oh my gosh, he's so nice. I thought that was so nice of him. I was so happy. I was so giddy and it made my day. So I went back the next night because they were filming again in this place, 15 minutes away from my house. So I got there at like 6:30 and I knew Sam was in there. I suspected Jacob was in there and I talked to one of the people who were one of the crew members and they said that he was there at some points, but he'd left for the day. So yeah, so I was there for 6 hours that night. And again, I saw so many of the extras, and a lot of the extras thought we were extras as well. And I do not know the name of this title, but I will just call it the extra shepherd. So there were two ladies who were responsible for telling the extras, like, make sure you have your prop, go to station A before you go back to set, and stuff like that. So I'll just call her the shepherd. So she comes up to me and my group of people, and there are about 15 of us, I suppose. And she says, okay, so yeah, go to station A and get your prop before you go in. And we're like, oh, we're not extras. We're just like fans of the show. And she's like, oh. And another one said the same thing. And yeah, we're just fans. And she said, well, you guys have been here for a long time. It's like, yeah. We were there for 6 hours that night. So anyway, of course, we see lots of extras going back and forth throughout this entire time. And a lot of them, there was one extra who was just retelling her experience having talked to Jacob Anderson in there. And she was very emotional about it. She was very thrilled to meet Jacob. So anyway, so we were there for a long time. And I mentioned in my review for the teaser, I was talking to a man who was crew, a Gen X guy, and he was just going on about how good Sam was and how impressed we're all going to be. He nearly spoiled something on the show or something that they plan on doing, but he fell short. He caught himself, so he didn't say it. If he hadn't mentioned it, I would keep it right here. I wouldn't tell you guys, but yeah. So, but the crew is really cool. Everyone's really, really nice. And anyway, okay, so again, we saw a bunch of people filing back and forth throughout the day. But towards the end, this was going on to midnight, so it was late. The extras are kind of moving in a different way. They appear to be done for the day, not going back to base camp. And so I figured, okay, they're about to finish filming. And so I saw the same car pull up into the same area. So I again suspected that I think Sam's leaving. So I have my crew. And I said, guys, I see the car. I think it's Sam again. And okay, so this is at 12:25. This is late. So we see the car pull up and is going to pass us. And we see it slow down and it pulls over. And then we see the light in the car come on because, you know, when you open a car door, a light comes on. So the light comes on, so I see a glorious head of blonde locks. And then this person walks out to the front of the car, and it is Sam Reid. And he looked both ways. He safely crossed the street to come over to say hello to us. And when I tell you I was surprised, that is the understatement of the world. I was awestruck. I was starstruck. I didn't realize this until I got home and I watched my video. I was basically hyperventilating. I was so taken aback and happy. Because, yeah, he came over to say hi to us. And as I mentioned before, in looking at his wardrobe, that was the same night that they filmed, or day that they filmed some of the concert footage when he's playing the piano and jumping all around and doing the most. This is at 12:25. And this man has been working from at least, based on what I saw on Twitter, from 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and he probably got there way earlier to get his scars put on, his hair all done up and stuff. So this man has had a long, full day, and he takes a time when he can go home to come over to say hello to us. So again, I'm still surprised. I'm still shocked. And so he asked us not to post anything because he didn't want to spoil him. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to post anything. He said not until it airs. And so I actually have quite a lot of videos and pictures, but I will just post one thing and I'll talk about that in a second. So anyway, so he comes up and he's talking to all of us. And so how we're situated is I am right in front of him. Sam is closer to me than my camera is to me right now. I was literally this far away from an arm's length away from him. And so, yeah, so now that he's right in front of me, I need to calm down. I can't be hyperventilating or smiling like a Cheshire cat or whatever they called it, because I was really, really just taken aback. And so I said, okay, let me just be normal, because I am actually older than Sam. So I'm a grown woman. And, as much as I'm fangirling or fan-grown womaning, I need to calm myself down. And so, yeah, I couldn't be all going all crazy like that. So I just told him the truth. I said, I thanked him for coming over to say hello to us. And I said, you are such a thrill to watch on TV. That your stage presence is just immense. You are so talented. And thank you so much. And he said, oh, I thank you. He's all very gracious. And one of my crew, I have my crew now who we go and watch these things, and she said, yeah, we're really looking forward to hearing your voice this year. And he said, yeah, you'll be hearing a lot of it. And so, yeah, we're just talking back and forth, everybody. And I had no idea that I was going to meet him. And so other people had a bit more foresight than me. And so they had their books ready for him to sign, or postcards or pictures or whatever, right? So he is signing everybody, and he's making sure he's so sweet. He said, okay, did I get everybody? And everyone said, yeah. And I was there and I didn't have anything. So I said, could you sign my arm? And he's like, yeah. So he held onto my forearm and he wrote did his signature. So he did it once and he said, oh, I kind of messed that up. So he did it again. So I had him sign my arm 2 times. Like, thank you. And so, yeah, so everyone was talking to him. Somebody wrote a book and gave it to him. And at this point now, he's taking selfies with everybody. And so I actually got 2 selfies with him. And because it was very dark, and iPhones at least, when you take a picture in the dark with no flash, it kind of goes a little slow. So the first one, in that time, he kind of moved his head. And then the second time, we took the selfie. And and so I think that's about it. And so, yeah, he made sure he had everybody covered. And then he said, okay, thank you. And he left. And actually, no, I should mention, some of the extras were still filing out. And so they had wristbands on. And so they asked Sam, could you sign my wristband? And he said, yeah. And he was so nice to all of them. He's like, oh, you guys did a really good job in there. Like, thank you. Sweet, very lovely man. Very, like, that's the only way. Like, he's just a lovely person. Like, obviously, I go on all day on here about how hot I think he is. But he is just a very nice person. And it's like, when you meet people, and I always take note of this when I meet anybody, when you can tell, like, they could be a grown person, they could be a child or whatever, but there's certain people when you meet them, they're just so nice and mannerly that you can tell that their parents, when they were kids, took great effort in making sure that they are a nice, well-mannered person. That is what Sam represents to me. Like, I get that impression from him because he was just so nice and gracious with all of us. And to think that, working so hard, and he comes out to say hello to us, and he was smiling. He was so kind. He was so kind. And that makes me, obviously, I love this show. I always thought he was great. He's talented. We all know that. But just meeting him makes me appreciate him and the show even more. And again, I haven't met Jacob yet, but he seems absolutely lovely. Some of my crew members, they have met him and also said he was very kind. So, and just knowing how close they are, I would guess that Jacob is just as lovely as Sam is. Because, Sam was just remarkably kind. And one of the extras actually came up to me and she said that when she was filming, another extra stepped on her foot. And so she had to go to the nurse's station. Like, she was fine, but out of an abundance of caution, they went to, like, the nurse's station, the medic or whatever you want to call it. But she was okay. And so she said she was, in the area. And Sam was close by as well, but he was getting some of his makeup touched up. So he got out of his makeup chair and he went over to her and she said, he asked her, like, are you okay? Or like, is everything okay? And she said, like, that was so kind of him. And it just sounds like, from everything I've seen and everything I've heard, he's just a very kind, good person. So I just thought I'd share that story with you because, I'm still so floored. Like, he's just so, I'm rambling. I'm saying the same things over again. But again, the fact that he chose to say hi to us, I don't think many actors would. So I can say from firsthand experience that he's a very kind man. And so, they were filming some other things the week after, but I was prepping for a trip and then I went on a trip. So I saw a lot of the footage from that teaser that they showed at Comic-Con, like for the panel that, somebody uploaded a kind of janky version of. A lot of those things were shot at these like fancy hotels in Toronto, but I didn't go. And I don't know where they're filming now. The information well has been a bit dry. So I haven't been to a filming location since the 9th. So we're going on a month now. But they are going to be here until October 16th. So I've got 2.5 months left. I will for sure go to other locations. If they're in Toronto, like if they're in Hamilton or Burlington, those are places that you have to drive. They're more remote. So I don't anticipate going to any of those things. But local things I will go to. And I will say this, like, again, Sam asked us not to post anything. And of course, Sam asked me to do something and I'm going to do it or not do it in this case. I have seen a lot of things that aren't spoilers. Again, I don't know any of the particulars of the story, but I have seen certain images and certain people dressed up in certain ways that I don't know why I'm mentioning it, because I'm not going to share it with you guys. But I will mention it like when it airs eventually. I'll say, oh yeah, here's my picture in my phone. I saw these things when they were filming. But yeah, I don't know any storyline. I don't want to know any spoilers. Again, I know some of the high level things of TVL, but in particular spoilers about things that are filming, I don't know, and I don't want to know. Yeah, but it's interesting just, seeing everything in person. It's just interesting. So that wraps up this video, and I'm sure it's very, very long. But if you're here still, thank you for sticking around to the end. I had so much fun talking about the Comic-Con stuff and my experiences at the filmings and meeting Sam. So I intend on going to other filming locations when I know where they're happening, if they're in Toronto. And yeah, if any other articles come out or if the teaser is officially released, I will come back here and talk about it. But in the meantime, please leave some comments. I'd love to get your input on things. As long as it's not a book spoiler, I'm good. And once again, thank you so much for watching me here on I See Melanie. Make sure you like this video, you share it, you subscribe, save it, and tell all your friends about it. Emphasis on the sharing, because we need to get as many people as possible watching this art we call Interview with the Vampire Lestat, okay? So thank you so much. I will be back with something else for you to consume, and have a great evening. Bye.